Hey there, Yuri here in my studio slash dressing room slash, we'll get to that last slash in just a moment. Welcome back to my channel. As I begin pretty much every video nowadays, it has been a minute. I am sorry guys, so much has been going on. As you know, I am a flight attendant. I'm sure you've heard everything that's been happening in the airline industry over the last few months. It's been insane. Also, not to mention, I'm obviously in a new space. Yes, I did move. So we're gonna get into that, plus a really big surprise that I'm so excited to tell you guys about. Please go ahead, grab something to drink. I'm just drinking water right now, and let's get into it. Okay, first things first, where I've been. So as I said before, I am a flight attendant for a major US carrier, and these last few months have been crazy in regards to what's happening still at a very global level, and as to how passengers have been reacting to mandates and things that have been put in place for their safety and also for my safety. So we'll just leave it at that. It's been a lot. And in addition, back in September, early September, I moved here. I moved into a home with my partner, my boyfriend. He was already living here in this small home, and so I moved in with him. And so I've been here, like I said, since September, and this is my space, my domain. I'm still setting it up even though it is January, and I'll explain why for that in just a little bit. But first things first is because of my job. You know, I'm only here a few days at a time, and so he was already well established here. He runs a business out of our home. He has for the last 5 years. He creates a product. The whole basement is his warehouse, and then he uses different rooms upstairs for the business as well. So it was me trying to find space among all of his stuff, and it was just so much. So been dealing with that, been dealing with flying. And I will say, if you're wondering what's going on as to why all these flights are getting canceled and things like that, I will say I currently am not working. There was a situation that happened on board a few weeks ago where I just did not feel safe, and I felt like I had to choose like the company over my safety. And so as soon as that flight ended, I requested a special type of leave, which I'll tell you guys about in just a minute. It's temporary, don't worry. And so I have not flown since, I want to say, December 13th. But as someone who knows the industry and still has a lot of friends in the industry and knows what's going on, I will say, if you do have questions about what's going on with these cancellations, it's a combination of two main things. One, believe it or not, is actually weather. So all of these delays and things that are happening, as you guys I'm sure are aware, there's been crazy weather. Today is January 4th, 2022. Happy 2022, by the way, as I'm filming this. And so just yesterday, there was like freak snowstorms all over the country. There was people backed up in DC for over 15 hours of not moving due to like a snowstorm that hit and proper infrastructure not being put in place. There's tornadoes that just happened a few weeks ago, these mass fires in Denver. So all of these weather occurrences do affect flights. They affect the safety if it's okay for us to take off and land and all of that. So one of the reasons is weather. Another reason, as I'm sure you're aware, is staffing. Staffing because, lo and behold, there has been a surge of, you know, a new variant, and crew are testing positive for this because it's a highly contagious variant. And again, I'm so grateful that I have not had to work through any of that. So grateful. But in case you didn't know how it works with staffing, staffing is based on an FAA rule, you know, the Federal Aviation Administration. So it doesn't matter how many passengers on board, it matters the amount of seats that are physically on that board. Even if there's no passengers on board, the amount of flight attendants required to work a flight, it's called minimum crew, are based on the number of seats on an aircraft. So for every 49 physical seats, there has to be one flight attendant. So if there's a plane that holds 199 people, there has to be 4 flight attendants, even if there's only 50 passengers physically flying on that flight. So that being said, if someone just happens to test positive before a flight, they have to take that person off and they have to find someone else. And if that's happening over and over and over again on multiple flights, staffing and moving people around and reroutes and standbys and reserves, you know, all of that stuff becomes very tricky. Not to mention, staffing is even more difficult when it comes to pilots, because as a flight attendant, I can fly on any aircraft. I can fly in 757s, 737s, Airbuses, 19s, 20s, 321s. Any aircraft that we fly in our fleet, I'm qualified to fly. As a pilot, they are only qualified to fly one type of plane at a time, and that is for our safety as well as theirs, because the flight decks on each of these different types of aircraft are different. So let's say, for example, for a 737, in my particular aircraft, we currently fly just two types, an 800 and a 900. So a pilot can fly a 737-800 and a 737-900. They cannot fly a 757. They can't fly a 767. They can't fly an Airbus 320. So if something happens to one of the two people up in the flight deck, the captain or the first officer, they have to find someone that can fly that particular aircraft in order to continue the flight. So again, if a flight attendant is out and you know, someone in the flight deck is out, they have to find staffing for all of that. And as this virus continues to mutate in people, it's getting more contagious. It's just the consequence of what's going to happen. And I'm sure you've all have heard recently how a certain someone went, you know, several companies, let's say, asked for, you know, the quarantine period to be brought down, and there's whole other issues with that, which I really don't want to get into. But let's just say I'm so grateful that I have not worked these last 2 weeks. Beyond grateful. And that's what's been going on in flight attendant life and the flight attendant world, and I was dealing with all of that even before this latest surge. And like I said, there was something that happened about a flight and I did not feel safe, and as soon as that flight ended, I requested a specific type of leave, and I have been off since then. And again, we'll get to that in just a moment. Next thing, as I said, I moved here into the home with my partner, and it's been a struggle working and then moving in and finding space for everything, but all of that said and done, this particular room right now is currently my dressing area, my studio office, and it's going to be something else very, very shortly, because this is the only kind of flex room that we have in this house. And I don't know if you've guessed it yet, but here is my big surprise. Can you see it? I'm pregnant. I cannot believe it. Did you guess what it was? Is that what you guys thought? Yes. So we were moving in right in September, and right at the same time as I was moving in, we found out that I was pregnant. It was not planned at all. Came as a shock. We were already going through so many changes, you know, in our relationship, deciding to move in together and all this, and adding this additional layer has been a lot, let me tell you. And you know, this space right here was going to be my studio space, my workshop, for me to, you know, finally hunker down and get things done in my Etsy shop. But between how crazy work was with the reroutes and just nothing being consistent at all at my job, finding that out in terms of pregnancy, things just didn't get done the way that I wanted to. I didn't have the time that I wanted to, and because this is really our only flex space, this space is gonna have to be the nursery, and my studio space and my closet space will probably still be in here as well. And I know it does not sound ideal. You think when you have a baby, you're gonna have this one room that is just theirs, and probably for our current situation, that's not going to be the case until we move into another home. And right now, because in case I didn't mention it, the leave that I took was maternity leave. As soon as that situation happened, I didn't feel I was in a safe situation for me and the baby, and I wasn't going to risk our safety and our health, and so went directly on maternity leave as soon as I could and got off that trip. So Anyway, once again, this space here is going to be the nursery slash studio slash my dressing room, and I'll take you guys along on the journey with doing a multi-purpose space. Again, no, it's not ideal that I don't have just one room that can be for the baby, but this home is going to be our home for probably at least another year to a year and a half, and that is just, we rent this home, by the way. That is just because of monetary reasons. Going on maternity leave, I'm taking a humongous pay cut and I really don't want to overstretch my expenses, and neither does my partner, especially because we have a very expensive thing coming our way soon. So that is that. And in case you're wondering, I am 23 weeks, about 23 and a half weeks, and the pregnancy scale is measured in 40 weeks. So I'm just over halfway through, and it's a girl. And so yeah, I mean, maybe you can tell a little bit in my face, but let me stand up and then maybe you can tell a little bit more. Maybe not so much from the front, but can you tell now? Yeah. Sorry if that was awkward, but I wanted to share that with you guys. I am really excited. It has been a series of emotions, and not just to say that, I also have a specialist that I have to see because of some conditions that were found out. And so I do see a doctor, 2 different doctors, twice a month, and then towards the end of my pregnancy I will see each of those doctors every few days. So if you guys are interested in learning more about other things with the pregnancy, things that have been going great, a lot of crazy symptoms that I've been having, anything like that, let me know in the comments below if you'd like to hear more baby talk in terms of these videos and how that's going to affect my life and my side hustle and flight attendant life as well. So be sure to let me know down below, and also if you enjoyed that surprise, please be sure to give this a thumbs up. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about in this particular video is what you can expect in 2022 from me, since I am not flying currently because I'm on maternity leave. Since I'm in a new space and I'm not going to be filming our home like that, I'll just kind of be in this space filming. I hope you guys will stick around. I've made a goal to shoot at least 1 video per week. My aim is to shoot 2 every Wednesday and Sunday to post a video. I hope you guys will stick around for that, and things I'm going to be planning are getting heavily into my Etsy shop that I opened last year. I'm so excited for things that are to come. Right now all my products are digital. I'm going to be adding some physical products into the mix. So I'll be showing you guys the day in the life of an Etsy shop owner. I'll also be showing you guys my planning routines as I'm getting really into the planner community and budgeting community, especially since I'm about to take a major pay cut. So if you guys are interested in planning and budgeting and the life of an Etsy shop owner, please stay tuned. Also, if you want to hear or see any videos about updating what's going on with my pregnancy, let me know as well, such as baby essentials, things I expected, things I did not expect, like expectations versus reality, the crazy things that I'm dealing with as someone who has some pretty bad fibroids, and that's the reason why I have to see a specialist, in addition to my age. I'm considered advanced maternal age, so don't even get me started with that. If you guys are interested in any of that, please let me know in the comments down below. And another thing that you guys can look forward to is I'm going to be setting up this whole area in my office, and as I transition to turning this space into something that can work for me and the baby as well. And I don't know if you guys can see that board up there. It's going to be my vision board, so that'll actually be my next video coming up. So if you're into vision boarding and manifesting, please stay tuned. Please be sure to subscribe. This is something that I'm heavily into, and a lot of the things that I wanted last year actually did come true this year in ways I did not expect at all. And I actually, on my Etsy shop, one of my most popular products is my vision board planner, which is this. I just printed it out and put it in a binder, but it's like a workbook that helps you figure out your goals for the year, and you kind of journal through it. And it has really great reviews on my site, and then even in the back of the journal I give recommendations for how to lay out vision boards and vision board journals and vision mood boards. So I'll be sure to link this down below, and in the next video I'll go over how I used my vision board planner to make this vision board that is coming very soon. And I'll also, in an upcoming video, be working on this Kanban board system. So a lot of great planning, manifestation, Etsy shop owner, budgeting, baby, lifestyle videos to come. So I really hope you guys will stay tuned. If you did like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I will see you guys in a few days so we can learn all about how to vision board and manifest your way into a great 2022, because Lord knows we all need it. All right guys, I'll see you then. Until the next time.